I think I've always kind of hung my hat on the hook that the arts can have an impact and can change people. That opening people's eyes to the truth is a big part of our mission as artists. This year, I feel somewhat conflicted about it because I'm not sure that people want to see the truth or accept the truth. I think we still have to keep fighting, though, and keep telling these stories, right? I'm not sure what other choice we have, but what do you think, Nate?
I think one of the most beautiful things about art is that it is predictive a lot of times. Like, it seems like, why was this movie made now? Why was it released now? It doesn't seem to all make sense, but I think there's a grand master plan. I always believe that, and I feel as though things transpire at precisely the point that they are needed. And I think this movie is at the perfect moment in time when we desperately need art that speaks to people in this way, because it's speaking to people in a very particular way, because it's not speaking, it bypasses the intellect and goes straight to the heart, which is actually where real change is effected. And I think that's why it's more powerful than most.
I would just love to talk about like beauty in general, right? We just heard this beautiful music here. And I feel like in the annual cycle of films coming out, we see a lot of, issue movies, problem movies. We see dark dramas. We see neorealist films that are often like kind of grungy and jittery. And it is definitely not the approach of this film, which is just gorgeous. And I'm wondering how you, as a director, in terms of conceiving of this project, you decided to kind of push for these beautiful moments.
Yeah, I would love to take credit for it, but I can't. Terrell and I grew up in a very beautiful place, and despite the fact that we lived what might be described as grungy lives, shit was tough, but we were surrounded by beauty. You could smell the ocean in the projects. There was grass everywhere, big sky, the Polk and Beans or Liberty Square, the projects that Naomie lives in the second story, beautiful colors, all these gorgeous pastels. And the cinematographer and I, this guy James Laxton, who I've known since film school, shot my very first student film, and hopefully will shoot more feature films for me. We talked about it, and we were like, this isn't neorealism. The subject matter might lean itself to neorealism, but it's not. Terrell describes Miami as a beautiful nightmare, and to have tried to subdue that beauty, in the service of some sort of assumed aesthetic type theme would have been immoral, because that's not the way we grew up. We grew up in a beautiful fucking place, and so we wanted to have pictorially, a beautiful film that could relay to you guys the beauty of growing up in Miami despite abject poverty. So I didn't want to make a movie about the subject matter that didn't have overt sensuality. Once the characters are adults and they're sitting at that diner, the movie becomes, hell, when Trevante has that dream, the movie becomes inherently sensual. I was saying before, there's a way a man looks at another man, there's a way a man does not look at another man. It's like, fuck it, in this movie, men are gonna look at each other as though they desire each other. And by the time we get to the third story, we lean into that sensuality. So I love watching that scene between Andre and Trevante for a couple reasons. I went and saw this Kerry James Marshall piece at the Met today. Wonderful exhibition. You guys should go check it out. And when we cast Trevante and Ashton and Alex, they have this very deep, dark skin. And I was like, I want that skin to shine. I want it to glisten. I want it to reflect the way I grew up, where people's skin was moist. And, and that moisture to me reflects life. The body's replenishing itself. It's pushing out things, and the skin is supple. And so whenever I watch that scene, I see the way these two dudes look at each other, and I see Trevante's skin just fucking glowing, as it should. This was a no powder show. It was like jojoba oil and all. Everybody got greased up. It was amazing. We were spraying people and oiling them down, man. Which, Derek could tell you, so I went to film school with this dude. You don't do that. You put powder on everybody. I was like, no. Don't dull the skin. Shine the skin, It's got to reflect and refract the light,
I love that. The last 5 seconds of that, when you say, where are you sleeping tonight? And just pause, and there's a little look off to the side, hiding the smile. It's just such a lovely moment. What are you thinking in that moment?
right, wait. I have to reveal a secret. That was the first scene that Andre and Trevante shot together. They met each other like a half an hour before that in the trailer. Now, Trevante had heard Andre's voice, because Andre did us a big solid when we record the phone call where Trevante's sitting on the bed, he's in the restaurant. We did Trevante's side like a week before, and Andre is actually on the phone. It's the first time Trevante heard his voice. And then that scene is the first time they meet. And so, bruh, I took my hat.
Yeah. No, man, I was thinking about string theory.
When you saw the final cut, was there anything that surprised you in the final cut?
Was there anything that surprised you in the final cut?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things that surprised me. The portraits that you do surprised me. The music, like, took my breath away, you know. I knew you were up to something. I knew you guys were, but I didn't quite know what it was going to be. That surprised me. Everybody's performances surprised me. The kids, all of it, really. Because, you know, we worked, I never met any of the other actors, any of the other Kevins or any of the other Chirons or anybody. It's just me and Trevante, you know. So I had no idea what the rest of the film looked like. He wouldn't let us see any of it. While you were tucking me in at night, you could have shown me something. But no, but the whole thing was really, it continues to surprise. Every time I see it, I'm continually surprised by it.
I was surprised most during the filming because everyone had said, you know, you're going to Liberty City. It's one of the most deprived neighborhoods in the United States, and there's got to be police there, and it's going to be really unsafe, and all of this. And then when we get there, I have never experienced any location that has felt more welcoming and more inviting. It really felt as though the people there wanted us there, and they were hungry to have their story told, and they were so respectful of the filming process. Like, I'm used to filming in places where people like turn their music up when they know that, you know, people have shouted action because they want to be paid like $50 or $100 to turn their music down. And here, people were like respectfully crossing the road away from filming, so as not to disturb us. They were really behind the project, and you really felt that love and that support, actually. And I think you see it in the finished product in the film.
These performances are incredible, and we're just so lucky to have you here with us today. We really appreciate your time. Thank all of you, and thank all of you for coming.
Thank you, guys.